Ask you about the European and the American fans of music. Is there a difference in understanding rock music between USA and Europe?
No, not really. People are people. I think America's a different culture, and perhaps they do have a different thing about music. I mean, in the end, so much of what bands do, like us do, started with something that started in America. You know, the old collision of European folk music with black soul music. You know, this is kind of how everything started. And a lot of my favourite music is black American music anyway. But the audience, our audience, yeah, they are kind of the same everywhere. Yeah. What it is, I think, is that New Malami attracts kind of interesting people because the songs are about things, and what they're about is difficult to say. You know, there's not an agenda. We haven't got a political philosophy we're trying to push or anything, but they're about ideas. There's lots of ideas and stories and contradictions in the songs. So I think it appeals to people that like ideas. And a lot of really interesting people. I've met a lot of interesting people that have kind of been drawn to the
I also know that you're fascinated by history. Do you read a lot?
No, I don't read anything. Everybody thinks I'm really intellectual, and I'm really not. And I'm really, I don't hardly read at all. I know stuff. I gather stuff. I talk to people that read stuff, and they tell me what's in books, and then I go around pretending that I know what's in the book because I talked to someone that read it.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to ask you something about the books. Just like in music, in the last years, I think that books are losing their material substance, you know. You can read them through the internet. Just like the songs, you can download them. You don't buy the album anymore. So how do you think this will affect art and the intellectual production?
How will it affect?
Art, as a, you know.
I don't know. I think it's very early to say. But the interesting thing about, I remember when the internet first happened with music, everybody said, this is the end of the music industry. Or no, that's right, they used to say, this is the end of music. And you're going, no, it's not. You know, but it is the end of the music industry, as it was. You know, these big greedy corporate companies like Sony and EMI, and it's kind of the end of their big gravy train. Well, good. It's not the end of music. It's going to be harder to make a living from music. I think it's harder for bands, especially bands starting like New York Alcoholic Anxiety Attack. It's harder, much harder now, to make a living from it. But in the end, that won't destroy music. That won't destroy people's joy in playing music or watching live music or going to a little club and seeing a kicking band.
They do have to make their living.
It's a dream. People will still play music whether they make a living from it or not. But if you're somebody you know that loves music and loves playing music, then you your dream is that you can give up having to go to work in the morning and make a living from your music. And that's, and when you're young, or you know, you're starting, you talk about making it, and that's kind of what you mean. What you really mean is making a living from it. And after that, that's a big line to cross. After that, how successful you are, how much money you make is kind of, there's a scale, but I mean where you are on the scale doesn't really matter. There is a big line that you cross when you can make a living from it. And well, I'm lucky I crossed the line in 1984 and been on the making a living from it ever since.
Yeah,
lucky man. And not only that, I'm in a band where we can play what we like, when we like, where we like, in the way we like. We can still make a living from it. We never made any compromises. We never give people what they want. Somebody said to me a couple of years ago about old songs, new songs. How many old songs do you play? You know, because obviously people, lots of old, you know, you go to see The Cure or Depeche Mode or someone from 1980, they got to play that and that and that and that. And I was thinking about a Christmas set we played in 2 years ago, and there was 2 songs from before 2000. That's all. And that's amazing, really, to be able to do that. And maybe the audience weren't happy. I don't really care. We do what we think is great. You know, we still care about doing something good, not just giving people what they want.
So what do you enjoy most? Writing the music, playing it, or recording it?
That's a good question. I love, there's 2 stages in writing. One is the ideas, and the other is finishing the ideas. So the ideas, I love that bit. That's really, finishing the ideas, I hate it. It's just work. You've got all these ideas and you've got to go, no, like that. It's kind of it's work. And I hate it, and I love it when it's done. And then recording I hate, because it's kind of an imperfect science. You have this symphony going on in your head. This fantastic music going on in here. And then you try to put it on tape, and it's difficult to, you know, it's difficult because I'm not a great musician. I need other musicians. They feel music differently from me. They have, you know, and then not all the ideas are mine, of course. You know, I take ideas from everybody in the band. Michael comes up with great ideas now. Everybody in the band comes up with ideas. And then I'm trying to make them into something. And there's always compromises being in a band anyway. I mean, that's recording is difficult and frustrating. Sometimes things come out okay. Mostly, this is kind of frustrating process. Gigging is great. Gigging, because you go out on stage, right? Yeah. And tonight you're going to be, every night is going to be the best gig ever played by any band ever. Right? We're going to, tonight, in Poole, we go out with the intention that this is going to be the best gig ever played. Ever. And okay, at the end of the night you go, well, you know what, it was pretty good, but it wasn't the best gig ever played. But there's always tomorrow, you know? So,
I know what you mean.
Whereas when you're recording, you go, that's not right, but if we fix this little bit, maybe it'll be better. And you're always kind of fixing. You know what I mean with recording, you can do that. Whereas with gigs, you just go on, you do it as best you can, then it's over. You can't change it. I kind of love that. I love that about gigs.
Howls up at the moon, out on the steps beneath my hotel room. Who's in the woods behind this little town? We went flying up to the sun trees and crashing down. Colors brighter than I've ever seen, more white than I've ever been. And faces turned stone onto the gates again. What a wonderful way to go! What a wonderful way to go!
Suppose we have Margaret Thatcher and Queen Elizabeth. Who would you most like to slap in the face?
That's the most original question I've ever been asked in an interview. I like it.
Thank you.
That's an interesting. I've got to think about that. I think probably Mrs. Thatcher. I think she was responsible for more damage than she realised. But so's the Queen. But it's not really the Queen. It's not the Queen's fault. She was born into this. Born into this position because we had a revolution where we executed the king. Excellent, perfect, good. And then 10 years later, we got him back again. I don't understand why, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm a Republican by nature. It seems to me mad to have a royal family. So. But Mrs. Thatcher, her most famous speech: "There is no such thing as society. There are only individual men and women, and there are families." That was her quote. Because she believed that everything which had began with SOC was kind of socialist. Society involved a mass of people together, was not to be trusted because it smacked of socialism. And that was the enemy. So anything that was public in Britain, like public transport, stuff done for the benefit of all. The idea of doing things for the benefit of all was killed in her time and never came back again, actually, in this country.
So the last question is about the shows in Athens and Thessaloniki.
Yeah.
The 30-year.
The 30-year, yeah.
Is it true that you're going to play different songs in each gig?
No.
That's what I read.
Okay, so what we're doing in a lot of places is we're doing 2 nights in the same place, and there we're going to do 100% different things. But there are some places, like the same in Turkey, where we're playing Istanbul and Ankara. We will do, because we don't expect the audience to be the same in both nights.
Yeah.
So we'll play a kind of, they'll be a little bit different. They'll be a little bit different, but a lot of them will be the same. The main part of the set will be the same, I think.
But is it going to be songs from every album
Yes.
that you recorded?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. It'll be a kind of, yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
Nice meeting you again, and I'll see you in Athens.
Yeah.
Hiding out in South America, protected by money and powerful friends. Hoping the world is forgotten by now. All the things we did in the Nazi death camps, the people that we tortured and killed. Why you could live your life and expect them to fear? Sure, someday you'll be made to pay. I believe in justice. I believe in vengeance. I believe in getting the bastard, getting the bastard, getting the bastard.
Tell everyone.
To come.
Tell everyone to come. It'll be great.
I know.